Last song you sang as we came in was I Am a Child of God. When I was in high school, there was an event in our high school where they were making fun of me for being a member of the church. And it was about this big of a group, and I was down in front, and it was a girl ask guy out weekend. And the girl was asking me questions. She was blindfolded, but they knew who I was. And they were making fun of me for everything we believe in. They were making fun of me for not drinking. They were making fun of me for the kinds of music I listened to, for our standards. And some of the questions were kind of clever. And so I was laughing along with them. And then finally I said, you know what? They're making fun of everything that matters the most to me. And then they asked me and two other guys, what's your favorite song? And they named their favorite pop song that was out at the time. And I thought, well, I can be two can play at this game. So I said, well, my favorite song is I Am a Child of God. And I thought I was so funny, and everyone laughed. And then they said, will you sing that? So I sang I Am a Child of God in front of the whole school. I did not sound as good as you did today. I'm going to share with you a message from President Nelson before he passed away, given to the young adults. President Nelson spoke to the young adults just one time. And so my responsibility, how many of you go to Institute? You go to Institute? Yeah, I love Institute. Make that a pattern in your life. And that was one of my responsibilities before my call to the 12. And we paid a lot of attention when President Nelson spoke to all the young adults, just one time. The talk was entitled Choices for Eternity. By the way, you're going to be making a lot of choices, right? What are some of the choices you're going to be making in the next few years in your life? Just shout it out so I can hear. Who to marry? So who are you going to marry? What else? Are you going to go on a mission, right? What else? What other decisions? Career. Where you're going to live. Are you going to hold the temple recommend? Are you going to serve in the church? Right? These are the choices that President Nelson talked about. And the title of the talk, and I commend it to you to go look at it again, it's called Choices for Eternity. And in there he talked about who you are. And he said so many choices become easier if you know who you are. President Nelson said all these identities, education, where you're from, your politics, what teams you cheer for, those identities will come and go. But if you know three things, and those three things unite everyone here, you'll make better choices. And those three things were, you're a child of God. You know these? Child of the covenant, and disciple of Jesus Christ. If you know those three things about who you are, all the other choices become easier. If you know those three things, who you'll marry, whether you accept that calling, whether you show up in church next week, who you date, where you live, what you do professionally, all of those choices become easier when we know who we are. And President Nelson in that talk said, every other identity, and they may be important to you, they may be really important to you, but every other identity will ultimately let you down, except for those three defining identities: child of God, child of the covenant, disciple of Jesus Christ. I hope you'll reflect on this weekend. I hope you're making amazing friendships. But I hope you'll also remember what brings us all together is everyone here, every single person here is a child of God. Every single person here has the opportunity to be a child of the covenant. And every one of us can strive to be a disciple of Jesus Christ.